How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Unboxed Overload, where we're going to take a look at the Asus ROG Maximus Z890 Hero motherboard. Now, this video will be a cut-down version of the full Asus media press kit that I did with a different cooler, the RAM, and then also the CPU. This is just going to be the motherboard, but if you want to watch that video instead, it will be linked in the video description. It's just a tad bit long, so just be mindful of that. Now, if you are new to the channel, welcome first. I hope you stay as well. But to quickly explain how the channel works, so this is the unboxing channel that does more casual first impression style of videos where we quickly take a look at a product, see how it works, and I get also idea of what the product is about and if it's actually worth doing a full review on. And if it is, then that moves to the main channels, either going to be a gaming overload or a hardware overload. Gaming overload is more for your peripherals, monitors, gaming setups, consoles, stuff like that, and then hardware overload is for all of the PC components. So yes, there is a couple of channels to choose from and possibly even more to come depending on the category and niche and everything, but it's up to you if you'd rather just watch hardware videos or more gaming peripheral type of videos. It's up to you, and everything will be linked in the video description. But anyway, now let's quickly get back into the Asus ROG Maximus Z890 Hero unboxing. Alright, so now I can finally get into yes, this thing is heavy. To the motherboard. Again, the ROG Maximus Z890 Hero. This is the second top of the range board from Asus. So yeah, it's not cheap, but if you want pretty much the best of the best, then, well, second best apparently, then you have this one for all of your options. So, alright, so let's quickly take it out here, just get a first impression, and massive, all black, just like the previous ones. I can't remember if I reviewed the Hero, the Z790 or Z790 Hero on the previous channel, but I have reviewed a bunch of other Asus boards previously, so yeah, I'm pretty familiar with what's going on. But anyway, let's move that one to the side. Now, not to waste too much time, this is what's included alongside the motherboard in the box. Alright, so let's quickly get the board out here. And yeah, this thing is heavy. It's probably around like 2 kilos or something. Kilograms, what, 4 pounds or whatever. So, as you guys can see, just a massive board with a lot of aluminum for all of your cooling, across your M.2s here, for your VRMs, for your M.2 here, even down here for your M.2s as well, so across everything. Usually you just get thermal heat spreaders like across here, but now you get at the bottom as well, so that's pretty nice. Now, like I mentioned, this board isn't cheap. Currently, it is retailing for around $700 on Amazon, or around 15,000 Rand for here in South Africa. So it's even more expensive than the CPU. So just keep that in mind. But you are pretty much getting top of the range for the board here. So we'll go over quickly everything. Now, again, this is just an unboxing, and then later on I'm going to do the full review of all the benchmarks and thermals and everything on the main channel. Again, hardware overload, so check that in the description below. But anyway, let's quickly go over the board and see what we have here. So firstly, of course, we have our new socket here, the 18151 LGA socket. So it only works with the, it only supports the new Ultra CPUs, or Core Ultra CPUs from Intel. It doesn't fit the older 14th or 13th generation CPUs, but luckily the cooler mounting points are exactly the same as the previous generation. So you can use your old cooler on this board and again, not have to buy a new one. But if you want to, you can again upgrade to something new and then also use it on your older generation if you wanted to. Now, we talked about the massive amount of heat spreader for our VRMs here. So quickly, for the VRMs, you get a 22 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2 power stage. And I believe that's the largest one that I have reviewed so far. Usually it's just like a 20 plus 1 plus 1 or something. But this is again a massive. It's 110 amps and 90 amps plus 90 amps and 80 amps. But of course, if you're not really going to overclock, you can use Asus's integrated AI overclocking. I can't exactly remember the name in the BIOS, but like usually just with one click, it'll automatically calculate all of the thermal headroom and power delivery and all of that to get a bit of an extra performance out, even above what the Intel CPU is currently doing on its own anyway, because what they have, what thermal boost or whatever, but with the AI boost feature, it actually takes that a step further. So I have tested it previously and it worked really well. It's not like a massive difference. It's like a percent, 2%, 3%, something like that, but it's extra performance for free. So we'll take a look at that in the full review. Now anyway, let's quickly move on towards our DIMMs here. So you do have 4 DDR5 DIMM slots that support a maximum of 192 gigabytes and speeds up to a whopping 9,200 mega transfers per second. I haven't used anything that fast yet, and again, I'm not exactly sure the speed of our current memory. Hopefully it's close to that, but you have plenty of headroom if you want to overclock your RAM to those speeds. But anyway, you do have a couple of extra features here as well. So you have their DIMMFlex AEP3, which is a Asus enhanced memory profile, I believe, and then also Nitro Path, which is just the socket here is a bit different. Instead of the gold connectors going around, apparently the DIMM here, it's a bit shorter. That reduces the latency between the connection. So I'm not sure how big of a difference it's really going to make, but I mean, if you go all the way now up to 9,200 megahertz, any little extra is going to help. But now, if you are enjoying this unboxing so far, again, remember to like and subscribe and do all of that, because again, there's plenty more content to come. I already have a couple of keyboards down in the pipeline as well that I'm going to unbox. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff more, and then again on the main channels, so check those out. But now anyway, moving on towards our PCI Express slots here, you do have 3 of them, with 2 of them being full size, but only one of them being a Gen 5 and full 16X, and then the bottom one for also longer, but that's only an X4, and then finally you have a little X1 here as well for any expansion cards or whatever you would need. Now I'm looking around, but it looks like they actually removed the GPU quick release button. Hi guys, it's Hunter from the future here, quickly just to correct myself. Now, like I said, there isn't a button to quickly release the GPU like it was on the older motherboards or the previous versions of the boards. Instead, Asus designed it that if you lift the GPU from the front, that is going to trigger a release mechanism that's be able to take the GPU out. So you don't have to use a screwdriver or anything to wedge it in there and actually pop the switch to actually get the GPU out. You just have to lift it from the front. But anyway, just the last thing is that both the top one and the bottom one does also feature Asus's shield design, which just adds a bit extra support for the PCI Express slots for those super heavy GPUs, just so you don't actually bend your board or your PCI Express slots. Alright, then moving on towards our M.2s here. I don't have my screwdriver with me at the moment, but you can just trust me on this. You do actually have 6 M.2s squished in here, so there's plenty of storage, and it's only there's 2 of them being a Gen 5, the top one, and also 1 down here somewhere. All of the other ones are generation 4, and then also all of them do feature Asus's Q latch design, so you can easily get your M.2 in and out without needing to use a screwdriver to actually lose that tiny bloody screw. So that's actually nice. But it does also look like, the first time that I'm seeing this, is that the top M.2 with its massive heat spreader here, you actually have a quick release button here that actually disconnects the heat spreader from the M.2. So that's pretty cool. I haven't seen that yet, so I actually do like that quite a bit. I'm not exactly sure how this works here. Oh, it's like a latch that actually catches the M.2 instead of the like slider that you had. Now you actually have like a slider. Well, both are sliders, but this one actually slides across. So that's pretty cool if you guys can see that. So you can just slide it all the way closer if you wanted to, if you have a really small M.2. But yeah, that's actually pretty cool. I haven't seen that on other boards yet. So nice new feature Asus. And again, you have this massive Gen 5 M.2 heat spreader, which you're again going to need. Basically, you just put this back now. Alright, so it slides in down there and then pops in and then choop, just like that. And then of course for your SATA ports, you have 490 degrees here on the side. Again, this thing is heavy. I haven't really showed you guys the back, but yeah, that is the back with just a massive plate here, and also apparently it helps dissipate heat, so yeah, I wanted to make a joke that you're going to need like a very sturdy case as well, but for the price of the board, I would expect you to have a pretty solid case. So you're not going to have one of these flimsy, like plasticky cases, so yeah, it should be fine. Now, something to mention just before we move on, it is worth knowing that the two Gen 5 M.2s, I'm not exactly sure where they sit now, one of them are here and one is there, they do actually share bandwidth with the top Gen 5 PCI Express slot as well. So if you use them, then the top slot is going to run at X8 speeds. So it shouldn't really be a problem, but just keep that in mind. So yeah. Now for I/O, you have your integrated I/O cover here, which is pretty standard nowadays. But anyway, you have your BIOS flashback button, your clear CMOS button, you have your HDMI, you have two Thunderbolt ports or USB 4 ports, which is actually pretty handy. You have your two USB 3.2 Gen 2 Gen 2, just stop there. 10 gigabit USB-A ports. You have two Ethernet ports, one of them being 2.5 gigabits and one of them being 5. So that's also actually pretty handy. If you're a content creator or something and you work with a NAS and still want your local storage and everything, then that is actually very nice. You have four USB 3.2 Gen 1, I can't remember, 5 gigabits per second USB-A ports. You have another USB Type-C port, 10 gigabits, and then two additional USB-A 10 gigabit. I'm not going to even mention what generation USBs they are, but you have two of those as well. Then for your Wi-Fi, you have your Wi-Fi 7, and then also, I believe, Bluetooth 5.3 as well, and then your audio connections. So honestly, nothing really to complain about I/O here. I'm actually really impressed. Two Thunderbolt 4 ports, your two Ethernet ports, very, very nice. Now, I will say that I would have liked if there was like a 10 gigabit and a 2.5. That would have been very nice for like, if you have a 10 gigabit network NAS and everything, would have been very nice. But yeah, all right, so now we can move on towards our on-board connectors, and this is where the quick start guide would come in handy. I think that should be okay, but anyway, we'll just keep it here on the side. So firstly, you have your two 8-pin CPU power connectors, you have your 24-pin motherboard power, and you do also have a 8-pin PCI Express power, which we'll go over. But still, up here you have 1, 2, 3, 4 PWM fan headers. Just quickly go over the rest of the fan headers as well. You don't have any around here or at the back here. Then you have additional one over here at the bottom, and then 3 more. So you have what, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 PWM fan headers between your pump and your cooler and all of that. Now, continuing up here, you have your Q code, you have your Q LEDs down there as well. You have your 5-volt addressable RGB header, so 1 there, 2 down here, so 3 in a total. You have your start button, your flex key button as well. You have now your USB, your 20 gigabit USB Type-C ports here as well. Just want to check if it's both of them. So the top one is 20 gigs and the bottom one is 10 gigabits per second. But this is where the PCI Express power comes into play, because it actually supplies additional power towards the 20 gigabits per second Type-C port here, header. Port does feature a power delivery. It's 60 watts, but if you don't add additional power, it only runs at 27 watts. So 60 watts, 27 watts, it depends on if you actually need it, but yeah, you do have that as a feature as well. You just have to add an additional cable. Now down here you have additional USB 3.2 3.2 header as well. So 4 of them for you. You have your, I can't remember what you call this, slim SAS. You have a slim SAS connector as well. I honestly have never used that before. So I'm not exactly sure what it is. I haven't even seen it on other boards even, so I'll read up about that one for the full review, but you have that on the side here. So you do have your reset button down here as well. You have additional additional USB 5 gigabits per second, 8 ports here as well. And then lastly, your Thunderbolt header here as well. And then you have an alternative PCI Express mode switcher as well that I haven't used before, but you do have that. But now that is pretty much it for my unboxing of the Ryzen 360 millimeter AIO. You have your M.2s here, your RAM slots. You have your Ultra 9 285K CPU, which I'm just going to leave there for now. And then, of course, your hefty motherboard here as well. Just the lights, that's better. So yeah, shout out to Asus South Africa for sending everything over for our review. So I'm looking forward to testing everything out. I'm just gonna leave that here. I don't want to drop that because it's heavy. So yeah, getting everything ready for a review, see how everything performs, and if any of these are actually worth getting for your new system. But anyway, that's pretty much it. I do again hope you guys enjoyed this little unboxing video. Again, there's plenty more to come. Again, even more keyboards down the pipeline as well. So a lot of stuff to come on this channel, and then also on the main channels, Gaming Overload and also Hardware Overload. So again, check them in the description below. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, and comment like always. And I'll check all of you guys next time. Cheers, guys.